doing a Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village impressions vid here today. By the time this is put up, I'll probably would have played maybe like 2 hours more. I'm going to try to play a little bit more tonight. I'm filming this on May 8th. But I'm not going to be here for a bit after that, so I've been kind of putting in as much time as I can since between yesterday and today. But there will be spoilers, some spoilers in this, so if you don't want to know about that stuff, and nothing too crazy, but I just try to avoid this, but I'll try to kind of not go nuts with that. But anyway, obvious stuff. You play as Ethan Winters. You're with Mia from the first game. All this is, pretty much talked about right in the demo and stuff, and trailers and whatnot. They have a kid. Stuff happens. I won't spoil things that happen, but you have to get your kid back. Chris Redfield's there. He's involved. But you're living in Europe, so you end up, you're like grabbed or whatever. All these people are doing things. I'm not going to spoil that stuff. What people are doing or whatever, but truck flips, you get out. You go to a village, a little bit similar to Resident Evil 4, which also takes place in Europe. Also similar to a village you end up in briefly in Resident Evil 5 as well. Just a different setting, but same kind of stuff. It's not in first person either, 5, but so you're doing stuff there, you meet some locals, stuff happens, etc. I am a little over 4 hours in, or just about 4. This is kind of where it's similar to me to Lords of Shadow. This is a little bit of the Castlevania Lords of Shadow, a little bit of a little spoiler there. You had to defeat the Lords of Shadow, and there's a few of them, 3 or 4, like 4. This game, as you saw from trailers, has lycans, witches, lady, I'm not going to say her name right, but the one everybody's boning over, Lady Demestra, I don't know how to say it, but Lady D will freaking say, Lady Demestra or something, the 9-foot tall woman. She's there. There's a part where you get grabbed, because you're in the village, lycans attack, it ends, and then you get to a castle part, and then you get grabbed, and there's a scene with we'll call it the lore. I think it's called the 4 lords. Hell of a cast of characters. You have the woman, the tall woman, Lady Demestra. You have Heisenberg. I would assume that was inspired by Breaking Bad. He's there. He's another one. There's this little creepy, I think there might be 1 or 2 of them, a little creepy doll looking girl. She's running around laughing and stuff. Mother Miranda, and there's another guy too. I don't even know if it's a guy. There's another creature type thing that I didn't catch the name of that one. They're hanging out. You get grabbed. You have to escape the guy Heisenberg. Which obviously you do, because you're Ethan Winters. He's the new Chris Redfield, the new Leon Kennedy. Then you end up in the castle, and it is cool. I read somewhere, it was on an Instagram post, where the producers of the game made it less creepy because people found the last one super creepy, which is kind of weird. Because I want to be as creepy as possible. It's a $5 game. It has its moments. It definitely has good atmosphere. It's not as creepy as 7 so far. But the castle is a classic Resident Evil kind of, classic Resident Evil layout. You're finding keys, you're finding pieces to do things. There's a lot of hidden passages in this place and stuff. Enemies Lady Demestro, God, she says, I meant to look it up too, how to say it, but whatever. She has her 3 daughters, which you saw in the trailer as well. I will spoiler, they are not vampires. They act like them and such, but you find out like how they were like made and stuff, like what happened to them and stuff. They do have a weakness. More spoilers here. I guess like her section is the first part of the game, I guess. Like you're in the village for a little bit, but like the first true part they spend some good time in. There's Duke, who's you saw as well. He's the guy from Resident Evil 4, but just not as classic. He's not like, what are you selling? He does say welcome, kind of like the other guy did, but he doesn't say what are you selling, what are you buying, at least he hasn't yet. But you can craft stuff through him, you can buy stuff, you can sell stuff too, you find stuff that you can sell. You can combine, you find herbs and chemical fluid, or what is it called? Chem juice? Chem fluid, I think it's just called chem fluid. That makes you health potions. He takes a beating again so far, Ethan, almost to the extent of the beginning of Resident Evil 7. Things happen and you will not be surprised. Of course, like completely unrealistic stuff happens, but of course this is a Resident Evil game, so nothing's really realistic. But you buy stuff from him. He's hanging out in the castle. You see him outside the castle, and then he's like just inside in a room. There are other enemies, because you find the little notes, classic Resident Evil stuff. It tells you like people come, maids and butlers or whatever come, and like you screw up and they bring you to the basement. You fight these kind of like creature dudes. They're not really creatures. There's actually winged creatures that are more creatures, but these things are in like the dungeon part and stuff. They'll wield like an axe or a sword, and they drop items when you kill them. You can block, which comes in handy if you remember to do it. I found I was using guns at first, and then I started using the knives on these guys. And I'm using the knives. They go down pretty easy unless the second one gets into the mix. It's a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but good way to conserve ammo. You make ammo with your gunpowder. You find scrap and stuff. I got a shotgun, sniper rifle, and a handgun. The fight against the tall woman, I'll call him like the tall woman, like she's the tall woman, and then there's the tall man in Phantasm, but she's a good character, her daughters don't have much to do. They're kind of cool though too, but they don't really say much. A lot of you're fighting, and it's like the usual dialogue. Some of it doesn't even make sense to what's going on, but she's a good character. She will eventually start following you throughout the castle, and she'll pop up like a Nemesis or a Mr. X or whatever from other games. And you gotta book it because she'll just fuck you up pretty fast. Tons of rooms, you gotta find keys and stuff, the usual Resident Evil shit. You can find, there's been no hard puzzles. There's one puzzle where you had to like turn things a certain way to get them lined up right way. You gotta read the thing on the wall. There's a thing actually was kind of cool. You had to hit 5 bells and light them up, and those are hidden in this room. And it took me a little bit to find the last one I found. I was like, there it is. Maybe I'll get the same feeling if you play it, or if you have. That was kind of cool. I found a treasure map and got that treasure. It ended up being like a thing I can combine with something else. You can sell, like I said, you get certain items and stuff you find, or you get off of bodies, and you can sell them to the Duke to get money to buy stuff. There's this little thing I got a ball for. It in the room Duke hangs out. It's called a Labyrinth. You put the ball in there, and you got to move it around to get it. In the end, you get another kind of prize. I guess there's a few of those throughout the game. More kind of spoilers here, not really spoilers, but if you're going to fight these enemies, these bosses in the game. I fought her, the tall lady. I fought her, Lady Demestro. It was like, it didn't sound like it should, like how it's spelled, but she looks really cool when you like fight her in her form, because Resident Evil, so these people turn into freaking things. She had a really cool look. It was a pretty cool boss fight. It wasn't hard. I'm playing on standard. Not easy, but not hard. I'm just playing on the regular mode, like the normal mode. I bit it a few times, but that was mainly because I just fucked up and got the shit kicked out of me, or I got hit by a trap. But it's cool. Graphically, it looks really good. I'm playing on the Xbox One, not the Series X or the PS5. I'm sure it looks a bit better on those systems. I would hope so, at least. But it still looks really cool. Like, it's a good-looking game. The environments in the castle are good. It's a bit dark. I had to turn the brightness up a little bit. Like, I had it to the brightness they want you to have it at, and then I was like, some of the stuff you just can't really see. It's almost better when you're playing at night because you don't get like any outside light or light from you just in the dark, so everything's a little more easy to see in the game. But I'm back outside again. I'm past the castle part. I'm back outside, so see what goes from there. I'll probably play a little bit more later tonight, but it's been good so far. Combat's fun. If the castle's great, it's a cool place to explore for sure. It's huge too. There's a lot of stuff going on. You got the map, and it's like multiple floors. There's a basement. You end up on the roof. Voice acting's good. The person who voices Lady Demestra is really good. Her daughters are all right. They're kind of what you'd expect. Ethan Winters is pretty good. Chris appeared. Chris and me appeared in it briefly, but I'm sure Chris will pop up again at some point. Mother Miranda's all right. The other guy does Heisenberg. I gotta get used to his voice. It's not that it's bad. It's just it almost doesn't match the character. I gotta get used to it. And the little doll girl spoke a little bit. She was just kind of going nuts. They started yelling at each other, and she's like, "Fight, fight, fight!" Yeah, she's trying to antagonize him or whatever. I don't know if she'll pop up again or not, but it's cool so far. I'm digging it. I knew I would. In my 4 hours in, so like I said, creepy factor, unless it gets super creepy here, it's not as creepy. It is definitely creepier than a lot of Resident Evils, but I wouldn't even say it's as creepy as like the second. I thought the RE2 remake was creepy. 3 is kind of creepy too, but not as much as 2. And 7 I thought was the creepiest in the series so far, in my opinion, but looks good, combat's good, stories. Resident Evil, I'm sure Umbrella T viruses will come into the mix. Maybe old Wesker will be resurrected somehow. Just to scream out, Chris. I don't know if any other known faces pop up. Maybe. But it's cool, it's a different... a lot of people are like, oh, it's not like it. This one and the 7th are kind of the new era of Resident Evil. You almost could put these in specific eras, Like those first ones, including the remake and 0. The remake of the original. They all have that. They're like the true kind of, not necessarily overly, not creepy much, at least for me, but true survival horror game. And then and Code Veronica as well. And then 4 and 5 and even 6 are the more. Although 6 had some creepy parts. I didn't play it full, but some of the stuff I played was creepy. Leon's campaign area was creepy. Ada Wong's was kind of too. But those games are the more action ones, they like 5 might as well just been an action game. In my opinion, it was a horror game. I wouldn't call it a survival horror game. 4 was kind of the blend of all of it, action, survival horror. 6 was more survival as well. And then you have like Revelations and Revelations 2, which are also creepy as fuck. At least Revelations 2 I thought was, but those are a pretty good blend as well. And there's other games too, like Operation Raccoon City, which is like a multiplayer game. And now, this one and 7 are the new, the first person, just a different flow, a different vibe, while still maintaining a lot of that Resident Evil over the top ridiculousness. Giant battles against huge things, a story that's kind of ridiculous, but still entertaining. And there's a couple parts, like in 5, you can block a door and stuff, and things are trying to get you in the beginning when the village is getting attacked. I assume you end up back there because there was stuff I needed to do. You can find lockpicks, some things that you get a little lockpick in one use type thing. You can find, I found her lipstick that was worth like $9,000 or $6,000 or something. I found a note saying, oh, her lipstick was lost, and I found it. But she was a good character. And Heisenberg's pretty cool too. It's just voice a little weird. Mother Miranda's hasn't done a lot yet. So the characters are pretty cool. And Ethan's pretty cool too, you know. He gets pretty fucked up though, for sure, as always with this. Yeah, but he just has those nice healing things that he just dumps on a body part, and it's fine, you know. You'll see when you play the game, but yeah, those are just some impressions on the game. I'll probably do a full review when I get back and beat it, so it's gonna go unplayed for a bit, but maybe like 10 days, 2 weeks, but we'll see. But I'm really excited to play more of it because I am enjoying it. I'm glad I picked it up yesterday and put the time in because I am enjoying it. Like I said, I'll probably play another hour or two later. I don't know. I mean, I'm 4 hours in. I was reading because I was just curious of the length. And some people, if you really go nuts, it could take you like 13, 14 hours. A lot of people take around 10. So, standard kind of of a horror affair. There's a part that kind of reminded me of an area in Evil Within 2. Small area in the basement. There's like blood everywhere, and it's like pools of it. And like you were like walking around in it. Similar part when you're like the hellish area in Evil Within 2. Well, that was creepier in Evil Within 2 because it was bigger and just hard to see and whatnot. But it's been fun so far for sure. But was there something none of the enemies are really bullet sponges, which is kind of nice. Just techniques to beat the daughters. It's not anything crazy. It's set up for you pretty easy to figure out. I hope to see more of that. But I mean, I thought the main boss fight was pretty good. So we'll see where it goes from here. You know, like I said, I'm probably only maybe I'm a third of the way through. So we'll see if it keeps up. If it gets creepy, maybe I'll post in my review, do a review of it. I'll post all that stuff. I got my GoldenEye 007 shirt my friend made for a few of us. But yeah, Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8. Good, solid game so far. Definitely enjoying it. Not as much as 7 at the moment. 7 I fucking loved. 7 different too. This is more open. 7 was a little tighter in terms of spacing and stuff. But yeah, some Resident Evil Village impressions. Thanks everyone for checking this out, and have a good night.